If you guys watch my YouTube at all, I try and take everything that I've learned from coaching in the gym for the last decade and give it to people like you that are running the program. And, the comments are always like, well, what about high bar squat? This is fine. Like, I prefer hack squats. I want to do a trap bar deadlift, everything the opposite of what I'm saying. And that's all fine, right? I'm not here to tell you if you trap bar deadlift, you're an idiot. I'm just saying if you're trying to get stronger for the reasons that I'm outlining, then the basic barbell lifts make the most sense. And the reason is they cover kind of three criteria. They train the most muscle mass through the greatest range of motion, and they're scalable. They're loadable in weight down to very small increments. Of course, the small plates have run away from me, but down to very small incremental jumps. And what we're trying to do when we run this program and do those lifts is something we call the novice linear progression. And sounds like I'd say 10 out of 12 of you get that. You're like, oh, I come into the gym, I'm supposed to add weight each time. And so if everyone wants to get up real quick, and we're going to stand over here by Nathan, I just kind of want to outline what that means. The way I like to explain this is you have a baseline of strength right now. I know that you all do because I watched all of you get out of your car, walk past the gentleman smoking cigarettes, grab the door, open it, come in, physically grab a pen and a waiver from me, sit down on a bench, and I can tell you have a baseline of strength. And so what we're trying to do is basically raise that baseline. So Ivan comes into the gym, and he squats, I don't know, 100 pounds for 3 sets of 5. Maybe he could go heavier, but we determined, hey, this is a good starting weight. You can still listen to the things I'm telling you. You can squat to depth. Let's just start, with 100 pounds. And here he is somewhere down here in the novice phase. So he's got this baseline, it gets stressed, and the body goes down into recovery mode. So if it's heavy and he squats 100 pounds, then that night, or the very next morning, if he goes to try and squat 110 pounds, he'll probably miss. Maybe not because he's a newbie, but he'll probably won't be able to make progress because his body's still recovering from that stress that he put on. So there's something called the stress recovery adaptation cycle. We put a stress on you, and then we purposely wait, right? And in this gym, we'll tell you take 1 day off in between sessions to the gym. We'll go over more advanced stuff later. But let's say he squats on a Saturday, he takes Sunday off, and he comes back on Monday. And instead of being here, right, this is his physical strength, he's here. He squats Monday, 110 pounds. New stress applied. Down into the recovery he goes. He comes back up. He's ready for more weight. Comes back into the gym on Wednesday, 120. Friday, 140. The following Monday, 150, 160. And a lot of you have done this, right? It's like, well, man, every time I come in here, just throw 10 more pounds in the bar. This is great. Now, as you get stronger, your rate of adaptation, the ability to add weight each time you come into the gym, starts to get lower. Why? Well, because Ivan is no longer weak. When he was squatting 100 pounds, he could recover from it really fast and just do 110 or 120. Now he's squatting 300 pounds. So he probably can't come in 48 hours later and just add weight. His recovery time is slower, his rate of adaptation. Now that doesn't mean that he's not going to still lift weights. He is, but that's where things get a little bit more complex. So if you look down here, training complexity. If you're here, in what we call the novice window, the novice planning, where every session it's very simple, index card, up against the gym, 165 last time, X 170, 175, right? It's very, very simple. As you get stronger, you will need an increase in training complexity. And a quick example of that is, I squat twice a week. When I started this like you, I squatted 3 times a week. Now on Mondays, I do 5 by 5. It's not all out maximum effort, but it's really hard, and that's what we call kind of a volume day. And on Friday, I squat really heavy, but lower reps. And then I only deadlift heavy on the days I'm not squatting, that middle day of the week. And so I would make the argument my workout is still very simple. Having done this for over a decade, I'm still doing the same movements with the same objects you are. I'm just adding in a little bit of variation so that overall progress continue to go. So one of the things I want you to think of when you look at this graph and you see this is, when I start, this is back to the whole zoom out thing and remember why you're here so you don't get frustrated. I'm going to get strong really fast. And then to continue to get stronger, it's even harder and it's slower. But my goal for you is to give you the tools today that when you leave, whether you can come to this gym or hire an online coach like some other people or just do it on your own, is, hey, I know I can get to here. And then, even if I don't maximize it here, you know, if I don't get to the very tip top of my genetic potential, I can live up here, right? I always talk about my 65-year-old mother. I started lifting 5 years ago, I guess now. Came in, you looked at her, she's a runner, she looks fit, she looks athletic, no issues. She sits down on this bench, actually it was that bench. I say, get up. She goes, get up, and it's slow. And I said, oh, wait, don't. She was using her hands. I said, don't use your hands. So she gets up, it's slow. I said, Mom, you're weak. You know, I haven't even had kids yet. Like, I'm about to get married. Like, you got to take charge of this and get stronger. And so, you know, here she is weak. I think day one, she deadlifted like 35 pounds. And boom, she gets her deadlift up to, I think her best is 240. And then now I'm like, hey, Mom, you don't need to deadlift 300, right? You're 65. But it's got to be hard. It's got to be challenging. The moment that you come in, who said they were doing like a gentleman's version of this or casual? It was you, right? The casual version doesn't really work. I think that's one of Ripeto's best quotes, right? Easy doesn't work. If it's too easy, it doesn't work. At the same time, everyone doesn't need to always have golfer's elbow, knee tendonitis, you know, wake up with their back hurting. So you got to find the balance. But for most of you, and I'm making assumptions, you got to learn to get here. And then everything that people talk about on the internet and all the complaints and RPE and reps in reverse and all this stuff, like they're talking about this section. I'm like, I don't care. Like, let's just get Janet's squat up to body weight for 5, which who knows, maybe she can already do. Let's get Dan to a double body weight deadlift. Like, let's just get these basic strength metrics so that when you want to be outside and not in a cave and you're going to Paris and there's like, oh, look, there's this cool 4-mile hike. You're not that family member that's like, oh man, we all want to do this, but you know, so-and-so, right? That's the whole point of this, is to be able to do the things you want, whether it's for job, for, you know, leisure, and so that you can live a long time. So that's kind of like my pitch on that. And we're trying to get you to there. And then all that is later.